Hi, welcome to my wildlife week. If you haven't already seen my introductory video, I'm Graeme, hello. And this week is my first full week of doing my wildlife week, and I'm really excited to have done this video and put it together for you. I hope you enjoy it, and hopefully you'll find something new. Now, before I go any further, just a reminder that if you want to keep up to date with me, hit subscribe below, and if you really want to know what's going on, hit the notifications as well, and also follow me on social media. There's also, I've created a link tree which has all my social media links on it, and that's Graeme B. Wilson, Graeme B. Wilson. Details are also in the description of this video. So, let's crack on and see what I've been up to this week. I've come to a bit where I saw some hair ice the other day. Unfortunately, temperature's risen a bit. It was just on this bit of dead wood here. It's caused by a fungus, which is going to be up there in the video because I can't pronounce it very well. And the fungus has to be present, and the temperature has to be down below, just below freezing, and it's usually found between 45 degrees and 55 degrees latitude. Although saying that, I'm at 55.5 degrees latitude here, so it is found outside that, but it's most commonly found between 45 and 55 degrees latitude. Now I'll just show you a picture of what it was that I spotted a few days ago so that you know what I'm talking about. Hi, welcome to a very chilly day in January. I'm outside in the coal bunker, getting some coal in for the fire, and I looked up and I saw some really interesting things up there, and I'll show you what they are now. You can just see here, and also over here and here. Those are hibernating small tortoiseshell butterflies. And the other thing I noticed, careful I don't fall in the coal, is an old wasp nest here. Obviously not in use at the moment, and I'm just thinking it won't get used again, so I might just take it and pop it in a box and keep it for environmental education purposes. So if you're in somewhere nice and cold and chilly, have a look, especially high up, and see if there's anything interesting around. There might be something like an old wasp nest, or there might be something hibernating there, like moths or butterflies. So have a look and see what you can find. But just be careful when you do it, not to actually disturb whatever's hibernating. Using camera traps or trail cams has become even more popular in the past year. I think it's because people have been in lockdown and they've been wanting to see wildlife, but they've been, stuck inside, not getting out as much as they want. This is a way you can actually record wildlife literally and then watch it back at your leisure. So, camera traps, trail cams, what are they? Well, they look kind of like this. I've actually got 3 here. I had 2 before. I already had this Bushnell and also this cheap unbranded one I think I got for about 25 quid off of eBay. You also have to excuse if there's any noise in the background. The boiler's just switched on. My office is actually my office cum boiler room, so there is a bit of background noise there, and the central heating's just clicked on. This one here is an 8-man. I've just been trying it out few times recently. I got it for Christmas off my son, so thanks son, I really appreciate that, and it's been added to my camera trap. Right, so how do they work? Quite easily. You set them up, depends what you want, whether you want pictures or whether you want video. You can set them up to take videos of set length of times, and also the set number of pictures depending what make you've got and what a model. It all depends what you can actually do with it. This new 8-man I've got, I can actually record quite long videos on it and get it to take photos as well as videos. So I've got it set up to take a 1 minute of video and also take 1 photo of that video, so that I can get both videos and photos. So this one here has a 16 gigabit cabinet, this one has a 32, and this one only has a 4. The reason for that is I've only set this up to take photos, 5 photos at a time, then a little break and then another 5 photos, so it doesn't need to take up as much memory. The other two need a bit more space for it. Now, where do you set them up? Well, set them up somewhere where you can hopefully see some animals. You can maybe put down some bait if you're out in your garden, sort of some seed if you want to attract some birds. If it's along a trail, don't just put it sort of 90 degrees to the trail with them going that way and you shooting that way. Just put it up or down the trail so that you actually might get the animal coming along the trail. Also, I've got various things. I put my camera traps on. Some I put really low to the ground, so I've got this little sort of like adjustable tripod here, and put my Bushnell on top of it and just sort of set it down. Also use higher tripods, so this one can extend. Now, if you're going to use a tripod, use an older tripod rather than a newer one, because older ones are a lot heavier. If you actually pick up online a second-hand older tripod, it'll be quite a lot heavier. Therefore, if you have it sort of set up, it'll have quite a heavy centre of gravity and is less unlikely to be put over. What you can also do is attach them to a post or a trunk or something like that. Trail cams come with belts, adjustable bands that you can pull, and you can also get, for my Bushnell, I have also got a metal case which is here that I can pop my trail cam in and put the lid on and padlock it up. And then I've also got a Python cable rather, that goes through the holes here, and it's a metal cable. It won't stop it being stolen, but it'll certainly deter someone. If someone's really desperate to nick your trail cam, you know, and they've got the right tools, they will manage it. But something like that, a Python cable will actually deter them quite a lot. Right, some other tips you might want to do is don't put it too close to something that might get that. They don't have a flash on them, but these bits here are infrared, and when they during night vision, during the night, if that infrared goes on, you can actually bleach it if you're too close to something and too much light is coming back. So just be aware of that. Bit of trial and error. Also, when you're setting up, just be aware of how you're setting up, because there's nothing worse than you actually sort of like setting them all up, and then when you go back the next day to look at it, you actually get a nice shot up your nose or something like that. Really not a good look. Anyway, other sort of like tips. Just make sure if you put them out, and this is going to sound really stupid, you put them out the right way. Don't put them upside down. There are electrics here and that, and if water gets into them, you can really kill your camera. Put them that way. They have a good seal on them, and so just to make sure that water doesn't get into them. Other sort of things that you might want to consider are, I've got multiple cameras here. If you've got multiple cameras, don't put them side by side or where they're both taking the same subject matter, because what you can really do there is, if both of them come on at the same time, just so much infrared light, it just sort of like, it will bleach everything and you won't get anything at all. Just don't, if you're going through everything, watch everything, all your videos right the way through. It's quite laborious and can be quite boring, because it's, you know, if it's during the night, it's sort of like wood mouse, and then suddenly there's something that you weren't expecting. So stick with it. I'm trying to think if there's any other sort of hints and tips that I can think of off the top of my head, but anything I don't cover, I'll put up on the screen in a second, so that you can actually sort of take note of that. And feel free, as always, to just get in contact with me if you've got any questions about that. I'm hoping that maybe to do a sort of like a trail cam workshop at some time later this year if the restrictions allow that, and might do it along with some other sort of like mammal tracking activities. So that's trail cams. So what I'm going to do is show you some of the stuff that I've caught in the past couple of days, past few days this week, when I've put some trail cams out in my garden. Just remembered another tip. Now the other two I have never had a problem with condensation before, but the apron I've had a wee bit of condensation with the cold weather. If you want to try and stop the condensation forming, is just rub some neat washing up liquid on your on the lens bit, and then just sort of wipe it off so that it's clear, but it just sort of like there'll be a residue left behind that stops it steaming up quite as much. Just a handy tip for you. Okay. Hi, I'm in a bit of a strange position this morning. I came down to check the small mammal traps that we've got in the kitchen. Humane, of course, because we've had some wood mice coming in, and I found this little guy. Right, it, because they're hermaphrodite slugs, so let's get the pronoun right. It is a green cellar slug, and actually a good guy. Most people think all slugs are bad, but green cellar slugs are good guys. They eat dead plant material and they eat also other slugs occasionally. So this one is quite small, as you can see, but they can grow a fair length. They're one of our bigger slugs species that can be found in the UK. They're actually quite a relatively new addition to the UK slug. There used to be there is a yellow cellar slug, but it seems to be disappearing. I'm not sure whether it's because this guy is competing them. So I better get up off my knees because they're starting to get sore, and hopefully they won't be back. I'm going to remove them. Good tip though is don't lift a slug, then use your smartphone, because even if you think you've cleaned your hands of that slime, it's still going to be there. So I'm going to get something to lift them with, because I really don't want slime covering my smartphone. Okay. Just noticed when I've lifted up this cellar slug, I don't know whether you'll be able to see in this light. Can you see all the movement on it? There's tiny little mites on there. I'll take a photo so that you can actually have a closer look at them. Well, rather than taking a photo, I've actually started the video, but you can still see quite clearly all the... Oh, look at how many there are there now. All the little... I assume they're mites of some sort running about. I'll have to look that up and see what it is that they are. Well, I'm on my hands and knees again today. This time not slug related, but rodent related. Probably a wood mouse in here, I'm guessing, because that's what we've been getting lots of. This here is my normal trap that I have in the kitchen, but I've supplemented it with some Longworth traps that belong to the Loading and Bordered Mammal group that I sort of have in my garage when they're not out getting used. Because we're not getting used just now, I've decided to put them in the kitchen to try and capture some more wood mice, because we've been getting quite a few coming in and out the cold. I'll cover this humane trap and a few others after this video. Just recommending which ones to use and which ones are maybe not so good to use. Longworths are probably the best mammal trap, but they're also very expensive at about 50-60 pounds, so you don't want to know you're getting them to look after it. But ones like these I'll cover in the video. So we'll go and see if we can find what's in this trap, whether it's a wood mouse or not, and what it is. And I better go because I hear Dexter the dog coming to investigate the trap. There he is. He likes to tell me when I've found something to trap. Okay, so we'll see you later. Hello again. Well, we've moved out to the workshop. I've left Dexter inside to do whatever doggy thinks he wants to do. He's a bit keen on small furry things, so it's not a good idea for him to be around while I'm doing this bit. We're going to see what's in the trap. Now, you may wonder why I'm wearing masks and gloves. Obviously, coincide due to COVID at the moment. The reason I'm wearing them just now is, although there's no requirements, the advice is when you're handling small mammals to wear masks and gloves, mainly because there's a possibility of not just me catching COVID from a mammal that may have it, but me actually passing it on to the mammal if I have it. So, works both ways, just as it does with people. Right, I'm rolling up my sleeves, which may become evident why in a minute. Right, need a big bag, and I'm really struggling to see the little screen that's in my camera, so I'm hoping that this is going to work. Right, I'm going to stand up so that you can actually see what I'm doing. I'm going to break open the Longworth trap and tip out what's inside. Put the trap down there. Yes, we've got a mouse. Get it in the corner and then get it by its neck. Right. Oh, squeaking. Right, now, it's a boy. I can tell that because of difference, the distance between its anus and its genitals. It's quite a mature male, and what I'm going to do now is just clip its sides. Clip mark its fur there, and that gives me a little mark just there. Doesn't hurt it, but it exposes the dark fur underneath, and that then allows me to know if this one comes back. I said it in my introductory video, I like to reuse things. This is an old humus tub. Pop the mouse in there. It has some air holes in the sides, so don't worry, it's not going to suffocate in there. And we'll take it down to the release site. Now, I said whether it was a male. There was a male. See the difference between male and female? Have a look at this nice picture that's just about to come up. You can see that the male and the female, the difference between the two is male, the anus and the sexual reproductive organs are quite far apart, and the female, they're a lot closer together. One way I try and remember it is it looks like a big I with a male and then a small Y for a female. So hopefully you found that useful, and I'm sure you've been dying to know how to sex a small mammal, so there you go. So we'll go and release this little one now, quite far away. I've got a release site about 250 metres away from here that I know they don't come back from. Okay, I've come down to my release site. Still got my gloves on. I've taken my mask off because it is really icy out here, and steamed up glasses in the black ice was not a good mix. I probably wouldn't have even made it this far. So just got to release it. I'm not going to be handling it again, it's just releasing, so I think I can do it without the mask, but I'll keep the gloves on. So here we go. Let's go and see if we can release it. Ready to go. There we go. You're going to go. Don't go across the road, please. I don't want to be squished and fidgeting. Right, in you go. In you go. In you go. There we go. And away he goes. Hello, welcome to this, which will be maybe weekly, maybe more occasionally, review section. Normally I'll be looking at sort of like equipment and maybe some books or whatever to use out in the field, but because we caught the mouse earlier in the trap, I thought I'd actually look at humane traps for indoor use, not for survey use. So not sort of like this type of thing, which are Longworth, and there's other types as well, which are some over there. I think I'll do them another week, but this time I'm going to look at humane traps that you might buy online or from shops that, you know, are supposedly humane, but some are more humane than others. Should I say before I start, it's not possible to have a trap that is 100% humane, because any small mammal getting trapped is going to suffer some stress, but you want to try and reduce that stress as much as possible and make it as comfortable as possible. So, which one to choose? I've got several here. Right, I'm going to start with this little trap here. It's quite a common one, and you can see you set it like that. This is how you release, but they go in, come on, and they hit a little trundle there, and this bit falls down here. This one's a bit stiff because I don't use it, which I'll explain why in a second. They're actually very, you know, they're okay. They're a bit small for my liking. A small mammal in there is going to get sort of like, you know, it's going to be quite closed in. The other thing is, if it starts to pee, it could actually get wet and cold and therefore get hypothermia. But another reason why I don't like it is, I don't know whether you'll be able to see this, but there's a hole here. Basically, this was put out overnight. I was trying it out and I managed to catch a mouse in it. and it managed to get its teeth under the sort of trap door, because the trap door went up a bit, got its teeth under and then gnawed its way out, and a mouse doesn't need that big a hole to be able to get out, so it escaped. So, sorry, not a great one. This one works in a sort of like a seesaw system. It sits like so, and then something goes in, you put some bait up the back here, something goes in, it goes up, this falls down, and then if it seesaws back and forth, it's stuck in there. This door can't go open again unless you actually press this little side bit inside here. Not recommended at all. Far too small. I mean, I said that this last trap was quite small, but you can actually see the difference in it. It is tiny. If it was cold at all, then there'd be condensation from respiration of the mouse in there. But more importantly, mice like to pee a lot, and it's got to pee. Pee can't get anywhere, and the mouse is going to get cold and wet and quite possibly die of hypothermia even if you check that trap just a few hours later. So that type is not recommended at all. This one, similar sort of problems. It's sort of like it goes in the flat like that. A mouse goes in up the top end, the trap goes up, falls down, and the mouse comes back and it closes the door. So you put the bait in here, something like peanut butter. It's really only useful for something like peanut butter, something that can stick there, because if you actually put something in there up the top that's sort of like, you know, that's sort of loose like oats or that, it just sort of slides down, so it's not useful. Again, slightly on the small side for my liking. I don't like it. It does have a few sort of like advantages, in that sort of like it's not got as many moving parts, and once it does actually shut, whatever has been captured cannot get out. But I prefer something a bit bigger. Right. This one here is okay, but it's overly complex. You have to sort of like lift these bits up here, then lift up the two doors here, and then fiddle a bit. You can see it's actually, if the door's shut and you don't get that bit down, it shuts down. Then you fiddle about with this bit here, and you get it in place. Then something goes in, and you capture it. Yes, it works okay, and it's sort of like it's fairly good, because once they're actually down, the captures cannot get back out. These lock in place, but it's too fiddly. I don't like it at all. So it's an okay trap. It's got plenty of room in it, but it's not great. This one here is, I've got some bigger traps that I've used for larger mammals like rats and small mustelids. Very similar to this, working the same sort of principle. Put it back, put this back there in place, hang some bait on the hook in there, whether it's peanut butter or whether it's something else, and they come in, they go for the bait, knock it, that goes like that, door shuts, and they're secure in there. It's okay. You know, it's a decent enough trap. The only problem I've had with this is, I don't know whether you can see, it's got wet, and the board and the sort of like wood in the bottom started to split a bit. But it's actually a decent enough trap. I've started at the low end, sort of like of my reviews, where I don't really like them. We're starting to get closer now, as you may have guessed from that last one that I quite liked. This one I really quite like. It has its issues. It's nice and big and airy, and you can also see in it. You can get ones that are actually more opaque, and that you can't see the sort of captures as well. It's got a nice grill here, so it's got plenty of air getting in, plenty of room for the small mammal to get about. There won't be as much respiration, sort of like condensation on it, and it can move about in here. So if there's a bit of wee up this end, it can move about. The small mammal goes in this end, it goes up here to a trundle, sort of like a little sort of like bit. It then steps on it, and door shuts, and you've got a capture. However, this is actually, although it's quite wide, this sort of like bit that they stay upon, I've seen the bait put up this end and I've seen me find it empty because the mouse comes up, jumps back and goes out after it's eaten, because mice are quite good jumpers. I always describe them as little mini kangaroos. But I've still had plenty captures in it, so a really quite decent trap. Not going to break the bank. You can normally get them for a few pounds. Of course, only one capture unless two go in at once, which has happened once to me. This one, however, is the one that I was in the video earlier in my kitchen. This is my favourite trap. It's really great for several reasons. One is it's not got very many moving parts. They just go in. It's going to be really hard to see. They go in. They go up a little ramp. When the ramp goes down inside, you can see the trapdoor closes behind them. And then when they come off the trapdoor, it opens up again. So more than one mammal can get in, and it's got two ways in, one here and one here. It's got plenty of room in there. And you can see in the top, if you've caught anything, I normally bait it with lots of peanuts and stuff like that, so that they've got something to eat, but also peanuts have a bit of moisture in them, so they've got something to drink as well, as a water source. Not drink, obviously, but just because it's got water in it, they're rehydrating. It's really good. I really like it. It says in the adverts up to 10. I've only ever had 2 captures in here at most, but it does work. They turn up here turn up in it fairly regularly. I've just given this a wash out. Wash your traps fairly regularly for a couple of reasons. One is to stop the build up of any disease. The other reason is gets rid of the mice smell, because sometimes small mammals won't want to come back. I'm saying mice, but I've actually caught bankful in my mammal traps before in the kitchen. They come in. They seem to be more of a summer visitor, the bankfuls. For some reason they go on their holidays during the summer and come into the man's kitchen. But during the winter it's wood mice who mainly get. Occasionally the bankful will turn up. Really good trap. Now, you can get them for under tenner if you shop around online. The one thing that I want to say, and I've not got one of these to show you, is bucket traps. There's 2 types of bucket traps. One is where you get a big bucket and the small mammals climb up, go along a sort of like seesaw, walk the plank, and they drop in to the bucket. The other type is sort of like, it's like a log roll. The roller goes across the top of the bucket. Small mammal comes up, there's something like peanut butter in the middle. They go along the the log rolls, and they fall into the bucket. Now, these are available online on Amazon and eBay, and they're available in Britain, and they break the law if you use them as directed by putting water in the bottom to drown them. There are laws in place that stop drowning as a method of control of small mammals, so just be aware that if you see these, and I would hope if you're watching this you're not the type of person that would want to do that anyway, but just be aware that that it's illegal to drown any mammal as a way of dispatching them. Obviously I'm hoping that you would be using a humane trap, but if you're going to, I think I've tried to cover that some are more humane than others. If you're interested, I have set up a petition to get Amazon and eBay UK to remove these bucket traps from sale in the UK. I'd love to see them removed worldwide, but I've set my sights sort of look at something I think is achievable. I've set up a petition. It's available on my Linktree link in my profile, and also in sort of look on my social media. If you check on there, I'll have tweeted, Instagrammed, Facebooked about it quite recently this week. And that's really it. I hope you found this useful, and I'm looking forward to doing my next review. If you've got any sort of like ideas what you'd like me to review, please feel free to look in the to comment down below in the video, and also if you've got anything that's questions about the traps, feel free to either contact me through the comments or through a direct message. It's up to you. Right, thanks. Okay, this next bit's just to do a bit of fun. Bit of equipment I've got here. It's a USB microscope. You can plug it into a laptop and be able to see things, very small things, a bit bigger. Like any microscope. This one actually comes with sort of like a stand that you can clip it onto and keep it steady on a desk. Unfortunately, I've just found out I've managed to break my stand when I've come to dig this out. Rather than clipping it into a laptop, I've actually also bought one of these, which is a USB converter to micro USB. This cost me less than a tenner, and this was only a couple of quids. Pop it in, and I'll show you how it works down here. Alright, so I'll get into my camera. Right, so this is my phone here. Let's just see. My phone here, plug it in. I've got a bit of software in it called USB camera, and the camera light comes on, and USB camera there. Open up. Right, so we've got this here, and I don't know whether you can see it, something just there. Right, so I'm going to pop it on here. There we go. Got it working. It wasn't working there for a second, didn't know why. Right, and you can see on here that there's something there, and I've posted this on social media asking you to guess what it is. Did you get it right? It's a mouse poo. There it is. Right there. Right there. Mouse poo. Bit more colourful and a bit rougher than you might think. A bit of fun. I'll put you back up so you can see my face again. A bit of fun, but does have its uses. Sometimes I've used it to look at details on small mammal skulls that I've dug out of oil pellets before, and looking at teeth. So a bit of fun, but might be useful, and you might want to have a go at it yourself if you've got one at home, or if you fancy spending some Christmas money on it. A few weeks ago I found some spider's eggs, and I've been checking them every few days. I popped them in this tub, and I've checked them every few days, and they finally hatched. So what I've been doing here is I'm actually using the microscope that I was talking about, getting some light, even more light on them, so that I can get some photos. So we'll see whether we can actually get them identified. I'm really excited. Hi again, just a quick one just to say, when I've been in here videoing this week, I forgot to say something, and there was a comment that a couple of members of my family, thanks guys, made about last week's video, in my introductory video, is that this thing here is not a toilet, right? They said, it looks as if you've got a toilet sitting behind you. It's not, it's a moth trap. Which I'll be using throughout this year, so I'll be doing some videos on moth trapping further into the year and right through the year, because you can catch moths at just about any time of year. In fact, you can catch them at any time of year as long as the weather is suitable. So that's really just that. I just wanted to say it's not a loo, okay? Well, that's me at the end of my first week of my wildlife year. I've had a really good time. I've really enjoyed making these videos, more than I thought I would. I'm not one for normally being in front of the camera. I don't mind being in front of a big crowd, but put me in front of my camera and I'm outside my comfort zone. But I've actually really enjoyed it. So I hope you've enjoyed it too. I hope maybe you found something out that you didn't know before, and that you'll come back and join me again. If you do want to, remember, subscribe and notifications, blah blah blah. I'm on social media as well, details in the description of this video and in the YouTube channel and IGTV. So I'm looking forward to next week. Don't know what I'm doing yet. Might do some stuff. I've got some stuff in my mind to do, but I might do them. I might wait for another week or two to do them, and I'm sure there'll be something will pop up that I wasn't expecting, that I'll just take the opportunity to make a video about, such as the slug in the kitchen. And that's about it. So I'll see you all next week, and feel free to get in contact with me via social media in the meantime. Right, take care. Bye.